First pointer here is we wanted to understand what is a test case. So now if you understand what is a test case, then we can understand what is a life cycle of a test case. And if you understand the life cycle of the test case, then we can understand what is the life cycle of the bug life cycle. So this is what we are going to discuss for next 38 minutes. Okay. Now, what do you mean by a test case? Test case is nothing but it's a set of actions which we need to perform with the respective inputs, prerequisites, and the descriptions and all. For an example, I asked you to write a test case for uh, 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 to buy a chocolates from nearby supermarket. Now, if I ask you, okay, I'll take the live example. So I'll ask Nazim. Nazim, go means have some water and come back. So now what we will say, I asked you to write a test case. Now you'll say that you will keep yourself into the mute and then you will just go from your place to your refrigerator, take the water. So step number 1, open the fridge, take the water. Step number 2. Step number 3, drink the water and close the lid, keep the into the refrigerator, and then you will come back and then you'll unmute and then you'll talk to me. So now what you have done, so the test case which we have been written for you is to drink water and come back. So this is what the test case name, and you have done. So you have walked to your refrigerator, had your water, and then you came back and then you reported back saying that I'm back and then I had my means I have drink my water. So my actual is you have to drink the water, and then my expected is sorry, expected is you have to drink the water and come back, and the actual is the same. So you went there and you had your water and come back and then it matched. So now actual matched with the expected, then this test case is passed. If actual not matched with the expected, then the test case is failed. So test case is nothing but it's a set of actions which we are performing on a particular application or on the requirement or on the feature. So now I'll show you a particular sample test case, how it would be written back. Guys, you need to write these things. Unless you are writing a good test cases, you can't become an automation engineer. Once again, I'm saying on this one, you have to be so cautious in writing these particular test cases. And I'm saying it right, it's an art of writing the test cases. Now for an example, so this is a template which we have done before 12 years. At that time we used to maintain our documents and everything in the Excel sheets. So now if you see here, this is for a login functionality. So now in this particular login functionality, one positive test case and all other 3 things are in the negative. So previously, as we are maintaining in the Excel sheet, we used to give the IDs for that particular test case. IDs would be unique. So this is the product name and the browser which we are using. At that time, we are using IE8 and the month July 10. So it's 2020, 2010. So year, month, and year. And then this is the product module name and the test case ID. So this it's up to you how you wanted to give the IDs. And FS means, what is FS ID? I don't think nowadays we will have this one, but still anyone can guess FS.
Functional specification.
Yes, functional spec or BRS, business requirement documentation specification. Like this, we used to have it in our olden days, but now we do have Jira's user stories and all these things. So that's where we will not understand. So this is a functional specification. Means this would be written by the business analyst. He will reach out to the client and he will gather the requirements and he will prepare a business requirement document. So that is a functional spec way, functional spec, or we'll call it as a spec. Okay, in as per the spec we will be mentioning there is a phase also. As per the spec we are testing this. So now here we will be having in that spec what is a version number, so those particular versions will be giving it. And what is a test case name? So the test case name is login positive. Here I'm trying to test it in a positive way. So now here what it was trying to say that logging to the home page with the valid credentials. This is the test case description and the test case steps. So now when you see the test case steps, you can see it right very clearly. Open IE browser, navigate to the Gmail app, and in the login page, enter the credentials. And enter the credentials username and password. Here we'll be writing the step number 2. We will be using the username as Gmail, whatever the thing, and then password as this. And for step number 2, we are giving it. And step number 3, after entering this one, click login button. And step number 4, navigate to the home page and validate whether we are able to see the compose button on the right top corner in the home page. So this is how we will write the test cases. And when someone asks you to execute the test case, means you need to go open the browser and do these all particular steps. So this is what a test case is. Test case is nothing but it's a set of actions performed on a requirement or on a feature. And for a particular test case, we will have for a particular test case, we will be having set of inputs, or that particular inputs is called test data. So the data which is used for testing, then that is called as a test data. Very simple if you understand the concepts. Now here I have means now it is very easy to understand. This is a test case, and this is what my description, and this is what my test case steps, and this is what my test data. What I expected, I should be in the home page. This is what my expectation. And what is actually happened means I expected Nazim to go and drink water and come back. But when Nazim went to the refrigerator, there is no water. So that is what the actual. So if expected is not matching with the actual, then that particular test case is failed. So we will mark this as a fail. And why it has been failed? Here it will spawn the birth for BLC, bug life cycle. So this is expected. If there is any deviation from the expectation, then that is called a bug. See how interlinked it is. Simply we are saying that it is it is deviated from the expectation, then that is a bug. And here the bug spawns. Once the bug spawn, it will go ahead with the bug life cycle. Cool. So now here I written the expected value, and then I written the actual value. And here we do have the result of this one. And what type of test cases is this? Is it a functional test case or non-functional test cases and all the things? Don't worry, soon we will be talking about this one. We will get into that. And then what is this particular flow? Means this is test case type, means whether it's a positive flow, whether it's a negative flow. So those things we'll be discussing over here. And the most important thing is the priority of the test cases. So how the test case will be prioritized? There are another concept for doing the prioritization. We need to take the complexity of the test case and the time of that particular test cases. So based upon these two factors, we will be giving the priority. Anyways, we have a separate topic called priority and severity. Giving the priority and severity in terms of a test case or in terms of a bug. So how to give that one, we will discuss there. So we'll just park this item, column number 11, and the different types of testing, so that we will anyways we'll discuss tomorrow itself. So we will discuss that. So now another thing is how much time it has been taken, because you should know if for example there is 1,000 test cases, how much time it has been taken. You should able to get the at least 95% of accuracy when you have been entered the time over here. So here it takes 2 minutes of time. We kept it into the seconds. At that time we used to calculate this, and how many cycles we have been done on this one. So cycles means the number of times we tested that one. So this is a one time we have tested. Is this can be automatable? Yes. And this is the resources who has been worked on this resource. It is the name whoever working on, and the date of execution. This date would be the last execution date, and who developed this particular test case and when this particular test case is developed, and then commence is nil. So these are the previous people, so who are trained it. So that's where I kept those people's name. So if you see here, in 2015, I given the same example. Even now also I'm giving the same Excel sheet example. So usually means we changed a lot, but still the proper way of writing these particular test cases is most important. And there are some standard IEEE documents also there, how to write the test cases and all the things. I'll share it to you, but as of now, I don't want it to get confused. Now, what you means from this particular conversation, you need to understand what is a test case and how you need to write a test case and how you need to pass the test case or fail the test case. So these are the three things you need to understand from this conversation. So have you understood what is a test case, and then when the test case will be passed, means okay, how to write a test case, and when a test case will pass and when a test case will fail. Any doubts in this, guys? Because now if you understand that only, then I can talk about the test case life cycle, or else directly I can start the test case life cycle, but you will not understand. That's where I'm coming by step by step. Did you got the pointer? Any questions? Okay, so I'm taking silence as yes, and then I'm moving away. Now, if you see here, test case life cycle. So now, if you see means where the test case life cycle has been born, you need to understand that. Now we have discussed the SDLC. In the SDLC, we have the requirements analysis. Others, can you please go on mute? So now when you see in the SDLC, we do have the requirements, analysis, design, testing, and the deployment. Now in the testing phase, we do have STLC, software test lifecycle. In the software test lifecycle, we do have requirement analysis, requirement means the test planning and test case development and the environment setup, test execution, and test closures. Now here in the test case development, this is the birthplace for the test case lifecycle. Now, in the test case lifecycle, what are the things we wanted to do it, guys? And once again, I'm saying it. You will be having this life cycles will be different from organization to organization. So one organization will follow with the many steps, and another organization may not have that many steps. It all depends upon the organizations, but as per the basic standards, we will be following with these things. Okay, so how we will be creating the test cases now? Just imagine now we went for for an example, Google came to us, bus I need to create a Gmail. So I have inbox means there you need to do it in a login. I need to have a compose mail and I need to have inbox trash packs and all things. They have been given the requirements to us. Now once they have been given the requirements, now what is the next step we will be trying to do? We will try to analyze that particular requirements. Now what are the things which I wanted to do? Means that particular means based upon the requirements, I'll try to derive my scenarios. Okay, I need to derive my scenarios for the login page. I need to have my inbox page, the functionality of inboxes. I need to compose sorry, whenever I got a mail back, I should see the list of mails, and when I click on that, it should open and I should able to read the content of this one. So this is what my inbox functionality. Like this, I have different functionalities. Right now I need to write all the validations. So now I should write positive validations, I should write the negative validations of this one. So the first phase of this one is test case designing. Actually here I'm not able to get the right documents over here. I have a particular IEEE standard document. I was searching for that, but I'm not able to find it out. So if in that particular document, we can see how to create. So this is for the test tracking matrix that was specifically to write for that particular test cases. I didn't have the document, but I'll search that and then I'll definitely try to share that particular document with you people. It's really amazing. So what that thing will talk about is, so first one is designing of that particular test cases. Okay, so here what do you meant by the designing phase means? So now first you will be analyzing the requirements. Okay, so once you analyze this one, next you should go for designing phase. So designing means how you will design your test cases. So I'll segregate my test cases. All my smoke means here we will be having the test case enumeration. Guys, if you go for Amazon, if you go for Freshdesk, so you know, right? I don't need to tell about these companies. These guys, if you go for an automation position, first question, you need to write a written exam. In the written exam, they will ask you about the test case enumeration. What do you mean by test case enumeration means? Test case enumeration is nothing but classification of the particular test cases. They will give you a functionality. Now, previously before 30 minutes, I was just discussing with Nazim on this. So the test cases, the test, if you wanted to write it for a login functionality, they will just give you one login functionality and they will ask you to write the functionality. So we should cover this particular functionality from the UI layer. Means what are the particular test cases we can write it, the positive cases, negative cases, and then the different exceptional cases. I told you, right, we can write 40 to 50 cases for this one. So we will should cover from the UI layer, and then you should cover from the API layer, means whether the backend is completely working or not. you're testing all these things from the front end, means whether the spellings are correct or not, whether the placeholders is correct or not, whether button is enabled or not, disabled or not, means the client side code you are testing in. And here you will be testing it with the server side code, means the validating, going to the server, validating that. And once you tested these two things, then you need to test it from the performance testing also, right? Means if at all there is a 10,000 users at a given point of time, they have been logged in, whether the application is able to sustain it or not. Even that also related to the login functionalities, right? So the performance testing, in the performance testing, there are lots and lots are there. So we can do the load testing, stress testing, and then we can do the constant load testing. Constant load means for every, means for a given point of time, for 15 minutes, you will give him the continuous load on that one. However, that when we come to the performance testing, there we'll discuss. So we will do all the performance testing, and after that one, we will do the from the security point of view. Means here we will be testing that the SQL injection. We will give some double codes and then double hyphens, and then we will do it. And even we will do the brute force, and then we can do the cross-site scripting. So we can do multiple things. Now, if you see here, for a simple login functionality, you can write more than 100 test cases. You can write it. So you need to write that particular test cases, and then you need to able to classify that particular test cases. These are UI level test cases. These are API level test cases. These are performance level test cases, and these are the test security test case level test cases. So this is what the people expects from the test case enumeration. Means they wanted to understand, if I given you a functionality in how many directions you can think through that and then write a test cases. That is the reason I'm saying that writing a test case is an art. It is not an easy job. So based upon your writing the test cases, you will identify the bugs. See, our job is to identify the bugs. So how you can identify, that is your smartness to write the test cases. So now here what I'm trying to means, why I told you this designing means, in the designing phase you need to do this particular test case enumeration. So in this particular enumeration, so it classifies into different layers, and then even you can classify into different suits also. We can need to divide into smoke suit, and we need to divide into regression suit and all the things. Don't worry what is smoke, regression and these things. Now this is our bread reading. So from tomorrow, by tomorrow you'll be understanding what are the this particular different kinds. So in the designing of the test cases, you should know what is test case enumeration. In this particular test case enumeration, you need to think through all the levels of your testing, means all the different testing pyramid. You need to understand that, and then even the different classifications, and you need to design your test cases. Okay, I need to write all the positive cases, negative cases, and these things. So this is what next one is, the designing phase. And next one is you are going to create that particular test cases. Okay, guys, you're not seeing this particular diagram in the Google or anything. As I'm telling you that this is from the IEEE standards we have been derived it. I'll share you the document of this particular page. There is a white paper on this one. So I'll share that document to you. So now this is test case creation. So this is test case design, and this is test case analysis. So now once they analyzed this, you have designed it. Now you're going to create it. So now you are trying to implement, means you are going to write that particular test cases either in the Excel sheet. You will be writing like this, or if you are in a particular tools, we do have many tools in the market, like X-ray and test trial, and then Jira. Oh, sorry, in the Jira, these all the plugins. We have the Q test, like test link. So these are the different test management tools. Means that tools will hold to write how to write these particular test cases. Okay, so there you will write the test case. Test case writing means, so you'll write the test case, and you'll write the steps, and you'll write the test, means what is the test data it required for this, and what is an expected value, what is an actual value. So all these things you'll be writing for that particular thing. Okay, now I have written this particular test case, and then I have first I have designed this test case. Now I have written all the test cases. Now after this one, we will go through this for the review. This is called test case review, or this the people will call in that particular language examining of your test cases. So what here the people will try to do is, whether you have been covered from the 2 point of views. See, 2 point of views. One is from dev point of view, and then from the QA point of view. This is QA, means quality analyst, not quality assurance. Dev means whether all the functionality we have been covered or not. and whether from all the testing perspective we have been covered or not. So this is what the test case review, when you are trying to do a test case review, these two point of views should be covered back. So now even from the development, all the functionality should be covered, and at the same point of time from the QA point of view, means this I told you, right, for an example in a login page, whether you need to validate all the what we call that, the alphanumerical validations, special character validations, all these things, whether we have been done or not. So that is what we will be discussing over in the review pointer. So when you review a particular test cases, they need to cover all the functionality, and then they need to cover all the testing testing concepts also, all that from the testing point of, so they need to cover it. So I created it, I reviewed it. Now what is my next job? So now what I need to do is I need to do the test case execution. So now I'll try to do the test case execution. Execution means the same thing. So I shown you, right? So in this particular execution, I'll just follow that particular steps, and according to that particular steps, I'll proceed further, and then I'll try to execute it. So this is called test case executions. And once the test case execution is completed, then in this particular thing, so here we will be giving it the test, I mean, the results, the output, whatever the outputs which we wanted to give in this particular results. I have 100 test cases, 50, okay, 60 test cases are passed and 40 test cases are failed. So this is what the report, the execution report we will be generating on this, and that execution report will be shared to the respective people. So now I executed. Now this will go for the test case maintenance. So test case maintenance is nothing but, so we have created that particular test cases. Now I should maintain the test cases. Now if there is any change in that particular thing, I'll change that particular test case and enhance that particular test case, and I'll maintain these test cases. And here you will be having the phases like, if you wanted to deprecate the test case, you'll deprecate it. If you wanted to enhance that particular test case, you'll be enhancing this particular test cases. So here you will be doing that particular following actions. If you see here, this is what the life cycle which you will be doing it for the test case management. So first one, analyzing that one and designing that one, creating that particular test case, and then reusing that particular test, sorry, reviewing that particular test cases and executing that particular test cases, and then test case maintenance. And in this particular executions, whatever it was failed, so from here the bug life cycle will born. I'll just give you a pause over here to have your questions or anything, or did you have any clarifications required around this? So what we have been discussed, what is a test case and how to write a test case, and how to pass or fail a test case. Now, what is a test case lifecycle we have been derived, and where the test case lifecycle born. So even that is also discussed. Now we are going to discuss about the bug lifecycle. So any questions? So can I go ahead with the bug lifecycle? Okay, so now here to give you the pointers. So now this is what our bug life cycle, right? Now you know that from where this particular bug life cycle was born. So now once the particular bug life cycle was born, so here these are the phases which we do have it. Now coming back to here, the new. So now when you are executing that particular test case, one test case was failed, and you have been seen that this is a deviation from the expectation. And one more small exercise for you people. Shiva, you have been told me multiple terminologies. One is bug, one is a defect, one is a error, and one is a issue. So you have used all four words.
Mm.
Now you need to explain me tomorrow, or not tomorrow, on Monday, what is the difference between bug and defect, and error, and then issue. So for these four, I wanted the differentiation. All four are different, by the way,
Yeah,
not all the
I
same.
yeah, I understand.
Okay.
The different.
Okay. So you need to use
Okay,
that different things. I mean, you give me the
okay,
explanation on this. Okay.
okay.
Now coming back here. Now when, as I told you, when you're doing the execution, there is a test case is failed, and then it is back, pointed back pointed back to this new state, and we will, means this particular bug will be logged into the we will be having the bug management tools. We have many bug management tools, either in the Zira you can log it, or Mantis you can log it. You have Bugzilla, you need to do it. There are many tools available. So now here logging means what you will be doing is what is a bug name, what is a bug description, and how to reproduce this particular bug, means how you have done and how this particular things has been replicated, and then which environment used, which browser you used, which browser version you used, or the screenshots which you have been taken it, and then the video which we need to taken it. All those informations you will be logging it as a bug. When you are in the new stage, you will be logging a bug. For logging a bug, all these informations you'll be doing it. Don't worry, Pina will be sharing you a Zira link. In the Zira link, you need to raise this particular bugs, so that particular information will be available over here. Okay, so now this is how you will be identifying a particular bug. And once you identify a new bug, so these all the bugs means you need to log in into that particular bug logging management. Now, okay, I identified a bug, I kept it as a new status, and then I logged it all with this all. Now next what? So this will be done. Who will be doing this one? QA will be doing this one. And here they have another things also, giving the priority severity of this particular bug. However, I told you the priority severity we'll discuss in the next step. So once you have locked the bug, this will be opened, and then they'll be seeing it. So now what you'll do, you'll create a bug and you'll assign to the respective name. So now what Shiva will do, so she will create a bug, and then she will assign this particular bug to Ruma. So now once the bug is assigned, the respective people will open that particular bug, and then they will read all these things. Okay. Then if they feel that this bug is a known bug, they will keep the status as a known bug. Or if this bug is a duplicated, then they'll keep this one as a duplicated bug. And they have another phase called this is not a bug. Boss, you are testing it in a wrong way. This is not at all functionality. So this is not a bug. Or they can say that this is as per spec. I told you, right? As per the specification or as per the requirement. And they can keep another phase also saying that because this is the latest enhancement. Boss, you are testing with the latest, no, older one. There is a latest enhancement is also there. According to the latest enhancement, we can close this particular bug. So once a developer open that particular bug, so he can give these many stages. So he can give it as a duplicated bug, or this is a known bug, or this is a deprecated, or this is a latest one. So he can give any of these particular phases, and he can close that one. Else what he can do is he can keep this one in progress, means he accepted that as a bug, and then he wanted to work on that particular bug. And he can keep another thing also, saying that deferred. So this is one of the important question that people will ask. What do you mean by deferred? Deferred means okay, I'll just give it to the people. So Ruma, what is meant by deferred?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
If now supposing that the defect is there, and developer team has decided like this is less important after discussing with the QA team, so they will put the status as deferred so it can go in the next release.
Yes, excellent. So we are not going to fix this particular bug in this release based upon the priority, and we wanted to fix in the future, then that is called a deferred state. So he can keep into these many statuses. So these many phases, and or these many statuses, and from this particular phase he can keep into the in progress phase also. From the in progress phase, then he will go to the fixing. He can modify the code or fix the code. So once he does that particular modification or the fixing the code, then we have two options. Then he, okay, one option. So here he will send it to the retesting. So this phase will be done by the developer, and this phase will be done by the developer. Now once have been done, so it comes to the retesting phase. Here once again the QA will pick up this particular thing, and he will retest this one. If this is passed, then he will close the bug, or once again he will reopens that particular bug, and it will go to the open state. And once again from here the same flows will continue for us. So this is how the bugs actually. Here what we have done is bug classification is there. So those are next level. So those are all things we have been added into our organization. That is what I'm trying to say. Bug lifecycle is not so standard. It depends upon organization to organization. It will change. So I can do the bug classifications and do the RCA for this one, root cause analysis for this one, identification of this one, and how to eliminate this one. All those things will be discussed over there. So this is how the bug lifecycle has been designed and done. So these are the means. If you see here, the closing of the bug should be done by the QA, not by the developer. Developer can't close this one. You should understand that. So when you open a bug, you should have the right to close that. So none of the other people can do that. And doing this open fix is the only thing the developer team can do it. Other things need to be taken care by the QA itself. Okay. So this is how the bug lifecycle will work for us. So any questions on this one? Are we clear with this?
Yeah, it's clear.